Hello, everybody, and welcome to the NFC Championship game. Our Salt Lake City Snowhawks come in. The Cinderella story of the NFL right now. It's David versus Goliath. Our Salt Lake City Snowhawks, the third seed, winners in the NFC West, as we have now taken down the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers en route to an appearance now in the NFC Championship game against the 16-1 Philadelphia Eagles. They come in on a 12-game winning streak, losing all the way back. I think it was week 8 or something like that against the Dallas Cowboys in overtime. That was their only loss on the season, as we're looking to keep our Cinderella story alive. Nick Sirianni, last year's Coach of the Year, although the Eagles another 16-1 season last year. So the last 2 years, they're 13-2 in the regular season, but they still have not made the big game in this span, as we're now at the opening kickoff, and we are now underway here from the NFC Championship game at Lincoln Financial Field. What a Cinderella story it's been for our Snowhawks as we look to keep writing that script. Will Shipley there on the opening return. Here's Jalen Hurts, of course, the all-pro quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champion, as he's looking to get back to the big game. 29 touchdown passes, over 4,300 passing yards, and only 8 interceptions. Of course, he takes care of the football, and he can run it as well. 15 rushing touchdowns, along with all those passing touchdowns he had. A top 5 offense the Eagles have, as now Jalen Hurts, his first drop back over the middle of the field there for DeVonta Smith, as he's taken down a hard hit by rookie Deshaun Gross. 3rd round pick out of Arizona State, ended up with superstar development. And now 2nd and 4, DeVonta Smith was the only 1,000-yard receiver for Philadelphia in the regular season. Now Jalen Hurts going to tuck it and run already, as he's going to work that pass to 40, and finally brought down by Matthew Torrance. An 18-yard scamper for Jalen Hurts. And just over a minute now into this one, the Eagles already towards midfield. Last week they absolutely dominated the New Orleans Saints 48-10. And now Hurts has Dallas Goedert, as that's already into Snowhawks territory. 20 yards on the first completion for Philadelphia, as they're already threatening. And now that one going to be incomplete. Make it 2nd down. Saquon Barkley still without a touch, although they will give it to him this time as he gets 1. Make it 3rd and 9 now at the 38. Hopefully we can get this drive to stall out. Hurts from the pocket, time to throw. Going to fire that towards the sideline. That's going to be knocked down by Nathan Scruggs. DeVonta Smith was the intended target. Nathan Scruggs came on very strong there in the second half of the season. Ended up leading our team with 5 interceptions. And now a 55-yard field goal attempt for the seasoned veteran Jake Elliott, the kicker for both Super Bowl runs during his time there in Philly. The kick is up, and that one is good, as the Eagles on the board despite a disappointing result. We're moving the ball very well there to start the game, but only end up with a field goal. And I think if you're Salt Lake City, you'll take that every time. Now the Snowhawks set for their first offensive possession, as that'll be returned from the 5, Trey Palmer, as he'll work that to the 30-yard line, and that will bring out Lucas McDonald. A lot of comparisons to Jalen Hurts. Very good athletes. They're going to run it most of the game, as McDonald was our leading rusher this past season. Over 4,000 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. 10 of those were in the first half of the season. He cleaned it up a lot down the stretch, as we won 7 of our last 8 regular season games. And now accompanied by Tank Bigsby there in the backfield. Mark Andrews, the man in motion there, as McDonald trying to get that to him, knocked down by Jalen Carter. Carter is a pending free agent, someone we have at the top of our wish list. We are ready to throw a lot of money his way. McDonald now going to fling that to the sideline. That's caught by Carlos Alvarez, the first-round pick out of Florida State. He had 99 receiving yards last week in our 19-0 victory over Detroit in what was our first shutout in franchise history. What a time for that, as we upset the 2nd seed Lions. Now Vince Willis, his first carry in this NFC Championship game. We brought him in mid-season to fill the pass-catching back role during Christian McCaffrey's absence, and he's filled in quite nicely. Now Salt Lake City, a quick drive of their own, already threatening in the Eagles' zone. McDonald that time a little off the mark. Dontavion Wicks was the intended target, and that was Quinyon Mitchell, another pending free agent on this Eagles defense that we have our sights set in the coming offseason, just a few episodes from now at this point, as Bigsby that time only for 2. Zach Bond on the tackle, and now 3rd and 8 for Salt Lake City at the 41-yard line. McDonald now on the 4-man rush, going to throw that downfield, and that's out of the reach again from Dontavion Wicks, so we are going to have to punt. See if Matt Araiza can pin them back. Really struggled last week despite the 19-0 victory. That looks a little bit better as that will go down to the 15. Hurts and the offense already back out there, not even 5 minutes into this NFC Conference Championship. They'll fake it there for Barkley for A.J. Brown at the sideline, and that'll go for 9. Good out route there for Brown's first catch of this game. Now on 2nd and 1. Hurts will fake it for Barkley again. Time to throw, as he will get that for Dallas Goedert, using that big body, that catch radius to go up and get that, working against Nathan Scruggs. Already the second catch of the day for Dallas Goedert, long-time tight end here for the Eagles. And now out in the pistol, as Barkley will motion out though. And now Hurts on first down, as he does have Dallas Goedert again. Or I'm sorry, that's Andy Bowden, I believe, backup tight end, his second year out of Wisconsin, 3rd-round pick. Promising tight end there, developing behind Dallas Goedert. And now it's going to bring up 2nd and 2. And a give for Barkley, as he does find some space, although I think that's coming back to a hold. And that was the backup tight end Andy Bowden, who just had that catch and then commits the penalty. Now 2nd and 11, as Hurts another throw this time. And he's going to be brought down for the sack. Andrew Van Ginkel came out of nowhere, and he closed in on Hurts and delivering some hurt there on Hurts. 3rd and 20 now coming up from the 30. Van Ginkel a sack last week against Detroit, I believe, and also had 15 in the regular season, set to cash in big this offseason. As Barkley does motion to the top of the screen, Hurts now out there empty, 3rd and very long. And he's going to get that underneath for Barkley, but nothing doing, only 6-yard gain as the Salt Lake City defense forces the punt. I think that was Jerry Sexton and Matthew Torrance on the stop. Saquon Barkley over 150 on the ground last week in that win over New Orleans. And now Golston really nothing doing. Great coverage there by Kaylee Ringo. And now it's 7:04 left in the first quarter. Let's see if Lucas McDonald and the offense can get some points on the board for the first time as we start here at the 21. Tank Bigsby the back. McDonald there, a quick one for Carlos Alvarez. That gets 4. Now it's 2nd and 6 at the 25. 6:30 left in the first. There goes Darnell Washington, 5 catches last week. He was the chain mover. And then McDonald, a quick decision, does have Mark Andrews. He goes with the conservative catch, did have some room to run, but you want to secure that one before you get going, and we'll take the 15 yards. We mentioned Quinion Mitchell and Jalen Carter set to hit free agency. Also Jordan Davis and Cooper DeJean, 2 other defenders on this Philadelphia defense that we're going to go after as we try to get Wicks involved again. That one dropped through contact, I should say, as that's now 2nd down at the 40. McDonald another drop back as he has Wicks that time, and he will pick up 8. Now on 3rd and short from the 48, McDonald directly under center, probably a give for Bigsby as we do go for him, and he just got the first down and then some as Bigsby will work ahead for 12. Since about week 16 or so, Bigsby has he closed the season extremely well and has heated up here in the playoffs, although he did get bottled up last week against Detroit, but was great in that game against Green Bay. And now McDonald trying to run away from trouble and just runs deeper into it, as we did talk about Jordan Davis as a possible free agent target, and he comes up with the first sack in this game. McDonald backtracks, and you never want to do that, despite Davis being about like 330 pounds. Very good speed, and we like what he presents up front, beating Randy Samuels that time on the interior. Now a 2nd and 23 for Salt Lake City. Vince Willis checks into the game in the backfield, as he will get another give here, some space to run, and he gets 7 that time. Despite the big gain, still a 3rd and very long here, 3rd and 16 at the 46. McDonald going to try and run off the edge though, as Nolan Smith makes the play. Another sack on this drive, and the Snowhawks again going to have to punt, this time from the 48-yard line, as Matt Araiza does get that one off. It's going to go out at the 25, so only a 27-yard net, and we need better results than that. And now at this point, we'll sim a drive aside and just see how it goes. That's how we've been doing it over the course of this playoff stretch. As Caleb Patton, a big sack there, now 3rd and 13, and we do force a punt again, so our offense another chance to get on the board. That one for a touchback. First down, we go incomplete. Now 2nd down with 15 seconds left, and we get 7 yards for Wicks. Now a 3rd and 3 to start the second quarter, and we get 12 yards for Mark Andrews to move the chains. Now 7 yards for Wicks, his 2nd or 3rd catch already. Now a 3rd and 1 at the 48, and we barely get the conversion there. 2 yards for Tank Bigsby, and now another 5 there for Wicks, just chipping away. And now 3rd and 4, and we will just skip it. 3rd and 4 at the 43, and we do not get it. Only 3 yards there from Lucas McDonald, and we will skip it. I think we might be going for it, and we convert there. We pass it on 4th and 1. We get the 3 yards for Andrews, and then 11 for Alvarez, and then 9 for Wicks. Now into the red zone. 2nd and 1 for the Snowhawks. First down after a 3-yard rush from Vince Willis, and a 13-yard touchdown for Dontavion Wicks as our Snowhawks take the lead. And we'll now jump back into this one as the Eagles now trailing, not used to that, taking over at the 30-yard line. Dontavion Wicks, I think 4 catches on that last drive. Hurts now chucking it deep, and he has a man that's up the sideline. Calvin Pressley, the 3rd-year receiver out of Alabama, former 1st-round pick, and he burns Dane Gilmore there. Pressley, very steady production now, his 3rd season. And Gilmore, I think Scruggs was supposed to streak upfield with him. I'm not sure why he went downhill. Maybe he got caught up, but Gilmore with the safety help over the top was a little bit late. Scruggs got beat, and Pressley the touchdown as the Eagles get that one right back, and they're right back on top. Just over 5 minutes into this 2nd quarter of play, the extra point up and good as it's now 10-7 Philly. And McDonald able to engineer a tremendous drive last time out, and he comes back trailing again as the Eagles a 1-play 70-yard hit through the air to retake the lead. Now McDonald, let's see how you answer. There goes Mark Andrews in motion, had that clutch 4th down catch to extend that drive as we'll go for Bigsby. Andrews trying to pick up that block as Bigsby gets 2. And now 2nd and 8 from the 28. McDonald towards the sideline has Carlos Alvarez, and that one gets 4. Make it now a 3rd and 4. McDonald going there for Wicks, and he's able to hang on despite the hit there from Quinyon Mitchell. Wicks having a big first half, moving the chains there again on 3rd down. Very clutch. I compared him to Jason Avant a few episodes ago, former Eagle. Tank Bigsby off the fake there for Alvarez, a hold, I believe, as that one coming back to a flag. Disregard, it was not a hold, it was an illegal man downfield, so 1st and 15. McDonald going to run this time as he steps up, evading everybody as he goes across midfield. That time going to get 22, slides down, and that's not what you want to see. Our veteran Ryan Kelly at center, injured there, holding the wrist, although it's not his snapping hand, so we'll see how that goes. But that's going to bring in rookie Seth Rosenthal, 2nd-round pick out of North Carolina, trying to groom him to be the successor at center. He hasn't played many snaps. We'll see how he holds up here against Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter as we try to swing that one out for Bigsby, taking down for a 3-yard loss. Zach Bond all over that. Now 2nd and 13, McDonald directly under center. We go back to the running game as Bigsby able to find a lane, only 3 though, tracked down from behind by Jordan Davis, showing good pursuit that time. And now a 3rd and 10 from the 45. And McDonald takes the snap. Going to fling that, and he has a man open. That's Carlos Alvarez, the rookie. Another big catch as he just comes up big time and time again. That one now inside the 10. He beats Cooper DeJean, 6'3", 233 pounds, with good speed, good strength, good hands, good route running. Just kind of a mismatch nightmare as we proved to make the right pick, I think, in this past year's draft. A cluster of receivers, but I think we came away with the best one. And now a 1st and goal at the 7. 6 minutes left in this first half of the NFC Championship game. McDonald there for Dontavion Wicks as that'll go down to the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal now from the shotgun. Philly stacking the line of scrimmage. McDonald going there for Mark Andrews, and that's a touchdown for the Snowhawks. And they answer back to retake the lead. McDonald, his 2nd passing touchdown of the game. I'm not sure what we got going on there on the touchdown celebration, but I'm not going to question it as long as we keep finding pay dirt in this one. I cannot believe time and time again the team that, that we've built over this franchise. I just cannot believe the results we've pulled off down the stretch of this Year 4 season. Now ahead over the Philadelphia Eagles, 14-10 pending the extra point with 5:19 left in this first half of play. We gave up that big touchdown defensively last time out. Hopefully we can hold, but look at that methodical drive. 9 plays, 74 yards, and that's how you draw it up. Hostile atmosphere here, Lincoln Financial Field. I have been there before, although I have been on the team that we're rooting for, but we're now rooting for the Snowhawks in this instance, as Jalen Hurts looking a little perturbed now, and you don't want to get on his bad side, as he's going to have to make something else happen. We saw A.J. Brown a little frustrated earlier after that big catch to Carlos Alvarez. Let's see how he does here, matched up against Max Melton at the top of the screen. They go for Barkley, though, on the ground, and a good tackle there by Matthew Torrance, working downhill, gets the tackle for loss. And that's not what the Eagles want to see, is Landon Dickerson, their star left guard, injured, and they're already a little bit weaker on the right side, especially in the interior. And they're now on a backup left guard here. Jordan Mailata at left tackle, by far their standout, otherwise a little bit weaker than what they're usually accustomed to, especially with Dickerson now on the sideline. They go back for Barkley as he finds a lane this time. Works past the first down marker, but I think that is going to come back to a hold. Eagles shooting themselves in the foot that time. That was Mekhi Becton at right guard. Now 2nd and 21. Hurts from the pocket, rolling left now. Room to run, as he will do so. And he works that ahead for 11. That makes it 3rd and 10 now. Eagles at their own 25-yard line. Hurts in the pocket over the middle of the field. That's going to be a first down to Dallas Goedert. That was Gilmore just a step behind him, but a mismatch there. Goddard has a few inches, a few pounds as well, as that moves the chains for the Eagles. Now less than 4 minutes left in this second quarter. Hurts and the Eagles now at the 38-yard line, as he will give back for Barkley. A lane opens up and he takes that ahead for 9. Saquon Barkley was the rushing champion this past season, although Will Shipley now checks into the backfield. Hurts rolling to his left, room to run again, now past the 50, as he will work ahead for the first down, brought down by Matthew Torrance. Now heading towards a 2-minute warning. Even holding them to a field goal here feels like a huge victory. And now Hurts from the shotgun will give for Barkley, and he will be brought down there by our safety tandem of Gilmore and Torrance. A very promising young safety tandem. Torrance superstar development, Gilmore star development, but I think he might hit superstar by next season, as we do hit the 2-minute warning. Snowhawks a 14-10 lead right now. They entered this game as 12.5-point underdogs, but we're currently covering and then some. And now Hurts on 2nd and 6, backtracking, time to run, or room to run, but Joey Bosa able to track him from behind. They will call that a sack, and it's now 3rd and 6 at the 41. Let's get the stop. And Van Ginkel gets home, and I said we would settle for the field goal attempt. How about the punt? We'll do you one even better. And Van Ginkel gets home again. He has just come up huge this season, and I thought we might call a timeout here, but we might just be content with a 4-point lead into the half, as the punt that time going to go out at the 17. So 44 seconds left, 3 timeouts. I'm not sure how aggressive we're going to play it, but even going back to wild card weekend, we were set to just run timeout into the half, take a nice lead. I think it would have been an 11-point lead against Green Bay, but Tank Bigsby hit from 89 as that first half came to a close, put us up by 18. And now McDonald going to step up and throw. Has Dontavion Wicks towards the sideline, breaks a tackle, and turns the corner, gets a good gain. Rosenthal still out there at center, so Ryan Kelly, we're not sure if he's coming back. Now 38 seconds. McDonald working to the left towards the sideline, has Tank Bigsby, only 5 though. At least that does stop the clock. Now 2nd and 5 at the 35. 34 seconds left. McDonald again. Going to roll to the left now, try and run, as he will not be able to work it out of bounds. Does get the first down. Snowhawks burn another timeout. Now up to the 40-yard line. Probably need at least 20 yards, probably more, to get in field goal range. And we get 15 that time for Mark Andrews. Down to the 45-yard line. We do burn our final timeout, though. And we'll see if we can maybe get a quick hit, get out of bounds, and bring Todd Hayes out for a field goal attempt. We talked about forcing them to settle for a field goal attempt. We might get one of our own here. McDonald, again from the pocket, rolling to the right, and just flings that one out of bounds. Smart decision there from McDonald. Now let's see what we got going here on 2nd down. Again, scanning, and again going to throw it out of bounds. Great coverage there from the Eagles, as you would expect, with Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, and also Teron Johnson, as well as McDonald rolling to the right. And he will get away, but ends up throwing it away. I thought he would at least try and get some yardage, but he does just throw that one out of bounds. So all 3 plays on that series end up in throwaways, as hopefully this is the last play of this first half. Matt Araiza on for the punt. Just did not want the block there, as that will go for a touchback, and that will bring us into halftime. Our Snowhawks, an unimaginable result so far, leading 14-10. There is Lucas McDonald. Going back just a few months ago, question marks if he was our franchise quarterback, but now he might be one of the best quarterbacks in all of the NFL. And that just goes to show what a week-to-week league it is, as we see there the playoff bracket. Eagles, Snowhawks, Bills, Chiefs, as a huge appearance, of course, on the line here for Super Bowl 62. Our Snowhawks just 4 years in as an expansion franchise, and we're 30 minutes away from an appearance in the Super Bowl. What a crazy development that would be. We got beat by Calvin Pressley earlier. Don't forget DeVonta Smith is lurking there. A.J. Brown is lurking there. But they will not be for a little bit here, as we are set to start with the ball. Up by 4 in the NFC Championship game. A chance for Super Bowl 62 on the line here. Is Trey Palmer going to start the half there with the return to the 30. And let's see if McDonald and the offense can keep up this clean play. He has been phenomenal during this playoff run, as has most of our players. We've just really showed a lot of cohesion down the stretch of this season, as we just, something happened. A flip switched, or a switch flipped, I should say, as Carlos Alvarez working through bodies there, physicality, concentration to attack the ball and just show so much assertiveness. Carlos Alvarez, we have not even seen Marvin Harrison Jr. yet in this one. He had that 72-yarder in the, there he is, just on cue. He had that 72-yarder in the first week against Green Bay back in the wild card round, and also had a touchdown last week as well, trying to keep that touchdown streak alive. And now 3 tight ends on the field, as we will go for Tank Bigsby. Breaks the tackle and works ahead for the first down past midfield. And I think that was Jalen Carter who just bursted through the line of scrimmage, but Bigsby was able to anticipate that and bounce away from him, as again we go for Bigsby and he gets 5. Definitely have to mix the running game in a little bit more here to conserve this lead, kill the clock, and try to get out of the Philly with a gargantuan upset. And now Bigsby on the dump off and spins away from a man, showing some explosiveness here. That one up for 7. Like I always say with McDonald, hitting that next level. Tank Bigsby very much of the same. And now Mark Andrews there in motion. Even Andrews really came up huge down the stretch. McDonald now trying to run, but ends up trying to get rid of it instead. That's going to be knocked down. Now at the 33-yard line, McDonald from the pocket. Going to just check that down for Wicks. He breaks the tackle, and he gets head for 5. 10 catches now for 77 yards for Dontavion Wicks. And now McDonald does have Mark Andrews open, and that one will move the chains. Finds him there in the soft spot over the middle of the field. And talk about the term security blanket, as that's exactly what he and Wicks have proven to be. And now out there empty from the 22-yard line. Snowhawks trying to extend this lead. McDonald has a man open. That's Marvin Harrison Jr. That gets 8. He'll take 8 on first down every single time. Makes it 2nd and 2 now at the 14. Bigsby the back. Andrews there in motion. McDonald takes the snap. And that's going to go over the middle of the field for Dontavion Wicks as he works that inside the 5, fighting ahead all the way down to the 3-yard line. And that sets us up sitting pretty. A 1st and goal at the 3. And McDonald now from the shotgun. Wicks has just been absurd in this game. Not the most explosive, but you don't need to be. And Bigsby that time a 1-yard loss. Josh Sweat in on the stop. Still kicking here with the Eagles in this franchise. Going to see some extreme turnover, you would think, with all the pending free agents they have. 2nd goal now at the 4. No one open, it doesn't look like, as we do get that for Bigsby, but no gain. 3rd and goal now at the 4. You want to come away with the touchdown. Don't want to settle for the field goal. And McDonald going to be sacked. Jalen Carter. Talk about a time to make your presence known. Not that he's been quiet, but he just hasn't had that signature play yet. But that going to force Salt Lake City into a field goal attempt. We were sitting pretty at the 2 or 4 yard line, whatever it was, 1st and goal. But instead now a 28-yard field goal for rookie kicker Todd Hayes. He was 4 for 5 last week against Detroit. and knocks in that chip shot to make it a touchdown deficit now for Philly, as we do have a nice drive to open the half, kill some clock, and we get some points. As now we'll see how Philly responds. A 7-point lead for the Snowhawks, 7:36 left in the third quarter, as that's Will Shipley on for the return. Former Clemson Tiger taken down at the 23, and we'll see how Jalen Hurts and the offense respond here. They have not had a lead since that first touchdown, I believe, or that first field goal, I should say, as we were able to go down and get a touchdown. They did answer, though, with a touchdown, so kind of just been going back and forth, but stagnant after that 70-yard touchdown to Calvin Pressley. 312 total yards for Salt Lake City. This offense is just a whole different product than what we were working with up until about week 10 or so. As Hurts, his first pass now, going to have that for Calvin Pressley, the third-year receiver out of Alabama, making his presence known in this game. Have yet to see A.J. Brown make a catch, I believe, although I'm not trying to see any. As Hurts now going to be brought down for the sack. Caleb Patton, he had a big sack against Green Bay in the wild card weekend, which kind of sealed our fate late in that game, and now bursting through, really coming on strong. And as I said about so many players, we could really just say that about anyone, as he just shows the speed rush that time. He's going to be our defensive tackle 1 next year, unless we can get Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis here from Philly, try and pluck them in free agency. But Caleb Patton has been coming on very strong. Star development, 3rd-round pick from our inaugural draft class going back to the year 1 offseason. Now 2nd and 19, Hurts does have that for Goedert, as he will catch that despite a couple Snowhawks there in on the hit. But that makes it now 3rd and 12. Only 1 third-down conversion for Philly so far in this game, as Barkley will motion to the top, being followed by Jerry Sexton. And now Hurts going to try and throw that. That's out of the reach and picked off by Dale Gilmore, the rookie out of Tennessee. And that's going to be brought down to the Philly 38. Dale Gilmore, 1st-round pick out of Tennessee. Another guy, we gave him a lot more playing time in the second half of the season. He really flourished. Only 1 interception in the regular season. He matches that and Hurts. Just the footwork a little offline, and that's just way out of the reach of DeVonta Smith. You got to make that throw if you're Jalen Hurts, as we are now set up again in a great spot. McDonald now at the 38-yard line, a chance to make this a 2-possession game. Salt Lake City already leading by 7. That one for Marvin Harrison Jr. gets 9. We had Carlos Alvarez at 23rd overall, and then a few picks later, Dale Gilmore we selected at 27 overall. We held the 3rd pick, but traded all the way down from 3 to 23, as Carlos Alvarez can't hang on to that one, as that will bring up 3rd and 1 now at the 30-yard line. 17-10 Snowhawks. We also have 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft, although they're both going to be in the bottom 4 of the first round, with our pick and Buffalo's pick, as we do get the first down that time. Dontavion Wicks, his 12th catch of the day. I think half of them have gone for first downs, as we've been huge moving the ball on 3rd down. I said Philly only 1 third-down conversion. I think we're up to 7 now, as we're now down to the final 4:20 in this third quarter. Carlos Alvarez towards the near sideline hangs on that time for 4. But if Buffalo were to move on, and we were to move on, we would have the 31st and 32nd pick. And that one passed, trying to get Wicks over the middle of the field, knocked down by Jalen Carter. 3rd and 6, 3:46 left here in the third quarter. Vince Willis the back, Mark Andrews in motion. McDonald with the snap. Mark Andrews was open, but we get Carlos Alvarez instead. His 8th catch, now over 100. The rookie out of Florida State. We have Dale Gilmore, the rookie on defense, forcing the turnover. And now we have the rookie Carlos Alvarez moving the ball. And what a pass there from McDonald, just zipping it in stride there for Alvarez over the middle of the field. And now another opportunity here, golden opportunity. 1st and goal at the 5. Let's get a touchdown this time, though. As McDonald rolling to the right, he's dangerous on the run. McDonald finds pay dirt, and he doubles the Salt Lake City lead here towards the end of the third quarter. His 3rd touchdown of the game, 2 through the air, and now 1 on the ground. And I cannot believe my eyes in this one. It was David versus Goliath, and Goliath is being supplanted right now in front of our very eyes. The Eagles fans are speechless, and now just 18:07 left in this game. And at this pace, we are set to play in Super Bowl 62, but it is far from over. Nothing is set in stone. Although a 14-point lead feels very, very good right now. We cashed in off the turnover. And now Philly on the return. I think that's Calvin Pressley this time. As not a good result. Going to run into his own man. That's Anais Smith, actually. And not the best field position here for Philly. Taking over at the 21. Jalen Hurts coming off the turnover, as he was picked off by the rookie Dale Gilmore last time. Philadelphia being outgained by a lot so far, as they boasted a top 5 passing and rushing defense. And that one off the mark again from Jalen Hurts. And there's Dale Gilmore fired up, bringing a lot of passion to our secondary. And let's see how Philly can respond. They need to settle down here. Not used to playing from behind, let alone 2 possessions. And now Hurts here on second down, sitting in the pocket as he has a man open. Again, that's Calvin Pressley working against Max Melton. Now the empty set for Philadelphia. The Eagles at the 33-yard line. Need a score here. Need to get some momentum back, as a check down there for DeVonta Smith will get them 8 yards. 2nd and 2, Hurts back directly under center, as he will go on the drop back. Going there for Goedert towards the sideline. Nice sliding catch. The Eagles able to string together a couple first downs now, just what they needed as they approach midfield. And there goes Bowden, the tight end 2 in motion, give for Barkley up the middle, as Barkley now gliding as he gets 9. Now into the final minute of this third quarter, Eagles driving here as they go back for Barkley. Some space to the right side as Dale Gilmore able to bring him down, as that might take us into the fourth quarter unless they call a play here real quick, as they do not. So Salt Lake City 15 minutes away from playing in Super Bowl 62, 15 minutes away from being NFC champions, but we have to finish the job. The Eagles here on the doorstep of cutting the deficit in half, but our defense has to keep doing what they're doing. And the Eagles have created that mantra that they cannot win the big game. They struggle, they choke, because even last season they were 16-1, as we said earlier, but lost in the divisional round, one and done after the bye week. At least this season able to win one playoff game, but if you can't make it to the Super Bowl, as Hurts hit from behind there from Joey Bosa, was able to get rid of it and avoid the sack. But if you're not able to win the conference this year, and especially getting upset by a team like Salt Lake City on your home field, that would not bode well. Kind of reminds me of the Chargers in like the mid-2000s with Marty Schottenheimer, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Phillip Rivers during his early days, as a good completion that time for DeVonta Smith, setting him up 3rd and inches at the 30. And you got to think this is 4-down territory. 8 third-down conversions to 1 in favor of the Snowhawks. Barkley, their motions again out wide, as Hurts is in the empty set. And he will get Barkley there, as he will break a tackle, still going, and finally forced out at the 20. And that's not what we want to see at this point, is Saquon Barkley getting going. Although he's not the type of guy you can contain for long. And now off the fake, and that's almost picked off by Quay Walker. Imagine Hurts turned it over again. Quay Walker is certainly not known for forcing an interception, but good coverage that time. Now 2nd down, as Hurts lives to see another down on this drive, as Smith in motion, they fake it to him. And Caleb Patton giving chase, and Caleb Patton getting home for his 3rd sack of the game. Oh my goodness, they cannot contain him on the interior. And as we saw earlier, Landon Dickerson did go out due to injury, and that is paying off, or paying into our favor now, as Caleb Patton destroying his opponent there. Now 3rd and 16 for Philly, knocked way back. And now Hurts there for Dallas Goedert, and that's going to give him 11, making it 4th and 5. I'm not sure if you go for it here. I probably would, being down 2 touchdowns with 13 minutes left, but they will bring out the field goal unit. And that will be a 32-yard attempt here from Jake Elliott. Already hit earlier, as that one is up. And that one is good. So now an 11-point deficit for Philadelphia. You need a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a field goal. 13 minutes remaining. Let's see if our team can just kill some clock here and match that field goal and make it a 14-point lead again for Salt Lake City. Just take care of the ball, run it, and chew some clock, as Trey Palmer there on the return breaks the arm tackle and brings that all the way up to the 32. As Carlos Alvarez, 8 catches for 103. Definitely not playing like a rookie, playing like a seasoned veteran out there. Tremendous postseason for him so far. ended with 99 last week, over 100 against Green Bay. And Lucas McDonald also having himself a phenomenal postseason as well. Let's finish strong here. First down. McDonald does have Dontavion Wicks again. Who else would it be? That time for 7. And you see there the Eagles' total defense, 359 allowed so far today. Second during the regular season. Now 2nd and 3 for McDonald. Time to throw. Does have a guy there towards the sideline as Vince Willis makes the catch. They will give him the forward progress. I thought they were going to say he got knocked out behind the line to gain, but a generous spot there for Salt Lake City. And the clock is continuing to run. And now for Bigsby, finds a lane. Tank Bigsby ahead for 7. Only 10 carries for 39 yards for Bigsby, but I feel like he's had more authority than that in this game. And now on 2nd and 3, McDonald from the pocket. We'll just check that down for Bigsby up the sideline as he barges ahead for a little bit more. And that's now over 300 passing yards for McDonald as we work now into Eagles territory yet again. Nearing the 10-minute mark of this fourth quarter, going to call an audible as McDonald now directly under center. Let's just go back to the run. We are going to go for the drop back, though. Over the middle is Darnell Washington, and he moves ahead for 6 yards. Now, less than 10 minutes remaining. We can almost taste the Super Bowl. McDonald has a man open. That's Marvin Harrison Jr. He hangs on despite the big hit there from Zach Baun. And that brings up a fresh set of downs as we now hit the 9-minute mark here from Lincoln Financial Field. McDonald again on the check down there for Mark Andrews, as that'll get 6. Now on 2nd and 4, just a flawless offensive showing in this one. Tank Bigsby again going to work this one to the outside. Tank Bigsby will work that inside the 10, as that's his biggest gain of the day, I believe, as that is continuing to knock down the clock now. Less than 8 minutes remaining. Salt Lake City on the doorstep, already leading by 11. McDonald in the pocket, flings that to the end zone. That's intercepted. Okay, disregard. Whew. That was C.J. Gardner-Johnson out of a cannon. But I guess he did not get both feet in bounds. Oh my goodness, that would have been rough. Let's just run it after that. I thought for sure he had both feet in, as Tank Bigsby up the middle, playing it conservative. I do not mind that. I don't mind just going for the field goal, making it 14 points again, as this clock is continuing to drain, although looks like we're going for the pass this time. Disregard, we call the audible as Bigsby back into the backfield, but I don't like the stacked line of scrimmage, so I'm hoping for a pass as McDonald throws there for Andrews, and that was a little bit low at his feet. So we are going to have to settle now for another chip shot field goal here from Todd Hayes, as that's going to be from 25. Looks pretty center cut, so should be one of his easier attempts of the season, as that one is up and that one is good. So the Salt Lake City Snowhawks now back up 14 points, leading 27-14 here. A huge upset at stake. I don't even want to say at stake because we can almost taste it. We can almost taste the NFC Championship and a spot in Super Bowl 62. But we're going to finish the job here. Less than 7 minutes now. Up by 14. And Jalen Hurts, he's probably been in tougher spots that he's delivered in. You can never count him out. And you can never count out Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and even Calvin Pressley, as we've learned. And Saquon Barkley up the middle. You don't really have the luxury of going for the ground game, but they do get 8 yards that time. Now up to the 32, 2nd and 2 upcoming. Hurts takes the snap in the pocket, and that's going to be for Dallas Goedert, breaks the tackle, and then finally brought down there by Dale Gilmore, as that moves Philly up to the 40. Now less than 6 minutes left. That's just really how I'm measuring it. Just as every minute passes, we get closer and closer, as DeVonta Smith will get the touch pass there, and only 2 yards stopped there by Quay Walker. And as we hit the 5-minute mark now, we're getting closer and closer, and Philly just not really showing any urgency. As a short one, Barkley has to dive for it, and I don't know if that was worth the clock continuing to tick here. Now a 3rd and 3 at the 48, not quite into Salt Lake City territory just yet. They will give back for Barkley, and he cannot get the first down trying to run off the block, off the tackle. And how convenient, as now Cam Jurgens, the center, goes off on the injury timeout, so the clock does stop. as they now have a backup left guard and a backup center out there. And now on 4th and 1 from the 50, this could be the ball game. Hurts now. Throwing there for Calvin Pressley, and he's working there through tough coverage from Nathan Scruggs, but hangs on for the catch. And the Eagles still on life support. Now a first down at the 43. Hurts in the empty set as he takes the snap over the middle there. A quick one for DeVonta Smith, and that one gets 9. Now showing some urgency in the no huddle, as again going to find an open man. Calvin Pressley making his presence known. That one for 17 splits the difference, as the Eagles now at the 17. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Jalen Hurts, another guy open. That's again Calvin Pressley, as that's going to go now to the 5-yard line. First and goal. Just over 2.5 remaining. Hurts rolling, and he will find the end zone. And some late drama now, as the Eagles now just down a touchdown. Jalen Hurts waiting a little bit, just trying to make it a little dramatic, and celebrating there, rolling around in the end zone. It's never over. He has that Mamba mentality. And now Jake Elliott on for the extra point. And now we feeling a little comfortable, kind of on cruise control throughout, but now we need a drive. Philadelphia, all their timeouts. We still have the 2-minute warning to stop, and that's exactly what they needed. A quick 10-play, 78-yard touchdown drive to get them back in it. Now 27-20, 2:29 left in the NFC Championship game. Imagine some OT here. We don't want to think that would happen, though. Trey Palmer on for another return. He's had a couple good ones. Not so much that time, brought down at the 25-yard line. So Lucas McDonald, we need one more drive out of you. We need you and Tank Bigsby, Carlos Alvarez, Wicks, Mark Andrews, Marvin Harrison Jr. Just execute your assignments, make the play, move the chains, and drain this clock. 2:24 separating Salt Lake City from the Super Bowl. And now we will get for Vince Willis, as he has a nice lane. Vince Willis fighting ahead, as he's had some nice gains in this game. The rushing defense for the Eagles, 123 yards allowed today. Usually third, or during the season, ranked third. As we do now hit the 2-minute warning. So that's going to be the last stoppage that Philadelphia can't impose theirself. They do have all their timeouts. Now 2nd and 1. McDonald directly under center. 3 tight ends out there for the Snowhawks, as Bigsby going to fight ahead for the first down, just running into the pile, and the Eagles burn their first timeout. Big play there to get the fresh set of downs. Eagles now just to 2 timeouts, as Bigsby trying to work it outside, and he fights through some tackles, a good 5 yards, and now just one more timeout for the Eagles. So a first down pretty much wins the game if you're the Salt Lake City Snowhawks. Back for Bigsby as he gets ahead for another couple. The Eagles now with no more timeouts. 3rd and 3, Vince Willis the back. He has delivered in his limited usage here. And we will go back for him as Vince Willis the first down and then some. Past midfield as that goes for 9 yards. 100 seconds remaining in this game. And I think that all but does it, as our Salt Lake City Snowhawks now out in the victory formation in the NFC Championship game. Is this a dream? This cannot be real. I know the Eagles' Dreams and Nightmares was their song in the Super Bowl back when they beat New England, but more experiencing some nightmares this time, as our Salt Lake City Snowhawks keeping the Cinderella story alive for this final kneel down in the NFC Championship game, as we are Super Bowl bound. The Salt Lake City Snowhawks are heading to Super Bowl 62 as we pull off the gargantuan upset over the Philadelphia Eagles, coming into their own house and beating them 27-20, as I cannot believe what this team has gone on to accomplish at the end of the season. Now 9 straight victories for our Snowhawks. We snap the Eagles' 12-game winning streak, handing them only their 2nd loss of this Year 4 season. Only 1 regular season loss for them to enter this one at 17-1 if you count the playoff win, as Nick Sirianni, another early exit in the postseason. And there might be some rumors that he will be getting replaced despite their regular season success. Our Snowhawks are heading to the Super Bowl. Let me know what you think in the comments. I cannot believe the turnaround we've experienced. Historic turnaround. Our first division title, our first few playoff wins, and now already our first Super Bowl appearance only 4 years into this expansion franchise. Maybe the best start of any team in their existence, as we are Super Bowl bound, and we could not have done it without Lucas McDonald. Without this team, we have put in place 52 pass attempts for Lucas McDonald, a career high for him in his biggest game, going for 324, 75%, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts was actually pretty good himself, 297, 77%, but that interception proved to be the difference. And now looking at the ground game, Tank Bigsby awoke in that second half, going for 15 for 62. Barkley was never able to get going in this one, only 8 carries for 36. McDonald matched that on less carries. And a touchdown. Vince Willis 5 for 42, brought him in off the street mid-season, and he played a huge role in this game that accelerated our efforts in reaching the Super Bowl, as Jalen Hurts also added a touchdown on the ground, receiving Dontavion Wicks 13 catches, 102, and a touchdown. Carlos Alvarez also went for over 100. Mark Andrews 7 for 60, a touchdown. And then Calvin Pressley had a huge impact, of course, 6'4", 219, a touchdown. 6 for 132. Blocking, we had 4 pancakes from Mark Andrews, 3 from Ekonwu with a sack allowed. But our pass protection has held up very well during our postseason run, and overall just showed huge improvements as this season went on. 14 tackles for Bond. Torrance led our team with 11 tackles for loss, 2 for Patton, and he also added 3 sacks as well, 2 tackles for loss and 2 sacks for Van Ginkel. A sack for Joey Bosa. He's been huge in this postseason stretch. And then that interception from Dale Gilmore really turned the tide and allowed us to capture momentum. 2 pass deflections from Nathan Scruggs, and Todd Hayes 2 for 2 on field goals. He's now 6 out of 7 the past 2 weeks. And now here you have it, folks. Our Salt Lake City Snowhawks are set for battle against the Buffalo Bills as Josh Allen finally reaches the big game for the first time in his career. He takes down Patrick Mahomes finally in their many playoff battles. 4 touchdowns there, 270 through the air, completed 82%. Mahomes did lead the NFL in passing and also had 52 passing touchdowns, as the Chiefs were Super Bowl champions back in year 2 of this franchise, but not going to reach it this year. The leading rusher in that game was also Josh Allen. Going over to receiving, Keon Coleman had 4 for 73 and a touchdown. Jalen McMillan, the number 2, 7 for 71 and a score. And I'm sorry, he's not the number 2, he's the number 3. Khalil Shakir is the number 1. He had 2 touchdowns, 4 for 52. Dalton Kincaid, the tight end, 5 for 57. As we'll just look at the Bills now alone. Cole Bishop, the leading tackler, tackles for loss, 1 for Greg Rousseau, as he's probably their best defensive player now, up to superstar development. I want to say 92, 93 overall, a couple sacks in this game, and an interception there from Terrell Bernard, a standout linebacker. But this is where I'm going to leave you, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Our Salt Lake City Snowhawks are Super Bowl bound as we're set to take on the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 62 in only year 4 of this franchise. We're going to have a bridge episode to the Super Bowl, so come back for that. We will preview this entire Buffalo Bills roster and our game plan for Super Bowl 62. And we're also going to go through our season review, so we're going to go over our player stats, look at league awards, Pro Bowlers, and all that fun stuff to prime us for the Super Bowl episode and also the off-season episode to come. So we have a lot of fun stuff incoming. Come back to check it out, and let's see if we can complete the final act of this Cinderella story and come away as Super Bowl 62 champions in only our 4th year of existence. But as always, everybody, it's been real and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.